Here is your General Hospital Spoilers sneak peek video for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Dante looks pretty rough when he makes a declaration to Rocco. He is no longer allowed to see Gio. Rocco doesn't take this decision well, as Gio is his brother, and he wants to get to know him better. But Dante can't seem to get over the fact that Gio has gotten Rocco in trouble twice now, although he never meant to either time. Lulu even seems surprised by Dante's determination to blame Gio for all of Rocco's problems, as if Rocco hasn't been making his own poor decisions. Will she be able to talk some sense into Dante? Nobody is on his side here, especially Brooklyn. While Lulu deals with her ex-husband, Laura tells her current husband what happened with Professor Dalton. Kevin is sure someone is trying to send his wife a message, and it's not a good one. Kevin won't like hearing that Laura got Sonny involved with all of this, so now she is indebted to her mobster BFF again. As for Sonny, he and Rick marvel at the fact that they are actually getting along with one another and wonder how long it will last. After Curtis and Jordan leave the PCPD, they stop at the Savoy to talk privately. Curtis tells Jordan that he had to lie to the police tonight, but will he confess that he paid Selena Wu to kill Drew? Jordan might not be able to keep that revelation quiet. At the Brown Dog, Nina laments to Ava how horrible her day was, watching her daughter marry that horrible man. Nina's night doesn't get much better when Portia walks in and has a bone to pick with Nina. She doesn't take too kindly to Nina throwing her under the bus and telling anyone about Drew blackmailing her. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Messy Syrup. It's me, Abby, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. General Hospital finally gave us the wedding we weren't sure was ever going to happen today when Willow and Drew tied the knot. He's in love with her, and she does love him on some level, but the bride's goal in getting hitched is to get her kids back. Katelyn Macmullen is examining Willow's motives in a new interview. While some brides are looking to live happily ever after once they tie the knot, Macmullen shared with Soap Opera Digest that being Drew's wife is hopefully going to come with some pluses, like his using his political muscle to keep her out of jail. Macmullen feels that being Drew's wife wasn't something that she wanted so much as it was something she needed, given her problems right now. Complicating the matter is that Willow truly does have feelings for Scout, Drew's daughter. Speaking of children, Willow's primary goal in marrying Drew is so that he'll help her get back her children, Wiley and Amelia. She sees marrying Drew and being his wife as a strategy. While Alexis, Nina, Elizabeth, and even Martin, who conducted the ceremony, weren't thrilled about the union happening, Willow knew it had to happen. Macmullen feels that Willow thinks it'll go over better with a jury if Drew has chosen to marry his accused shooter. She'll need to be a free woman to attend the custody hearing that's set for next year. Right now, Willow doesn't have faith in the system. After all, Michael A. Wiley and Amelia's dad is not going to hesitate to use his family's influence and wealth to secure full custody of his kids, if that's what he wants. Sure, there's a certain amount of desperation in marrying Drew, which is why Willow may have had thoughts about backing out of the ceremony at the last minute. Willow indeed knows that being Drew's bride will be an intense situation. In the end, she realized that if she wants to keep her freedom and regain custody of her kids, she's going to have to live life, at least for a while. As Mrs. Drew Kane. General Hospital Spoilers update for Wednesday, December 3rd, reveals that there'll be some criminal cover-ups while Sonny Corinthos' secret leaks. Portia Robinson will also have a public meltdown, so here's what GH fans can look forward to. At Sonny's house, Rick Lansing will share a pleasant conversation with his half-brother, as they keep the peace going between them. Have Rick and Sonny reached a real turning point? Meanwhile, Dante Falconeri will forbid Rocco Falconeri from spending time with Giovanni Gio Palmieri. But this ban could make Rocco more inclined to sneak around and keep things from his parents. Although Lulu Spencer may support Dante's decision on this, she may worry it'll backfire if Rocco pushes them away. Now that Nina Reeves has made it through Drew Kane and Willow Tate's wedding, she'll definitely need a drink. That's why Nina will head to Brown Dog Bar with Ava Jerome, who'll realize Nina's evening is about to get even worse. Thanks to Ava and her big mouth, Portia knows Nina's been trying to shift suspicion toward her regarding Drew's shooting. After Portia pops in the bar and sees Nina, she'll rip into her over the betrayal. Portia will also wonder if Nina actually thinks she's guilty of the crime, so Nina will land on the hot seat. At the Savoy, Curtis Ashford will have some Drew-related news for Jordan Ashford after deceiving the cops. Although Curtis didn't share anything about his $1 million deal with Selena Wu with the police, he may confide in Jordan. At Laura Collins' place, she'll give Kevin Collins more updates on the corpse discovery and the cleanup effort. Laura called Sonny, who summoned Jason Morgan to make Professor Henry Hank Dalton's body disappear without a trace. Jason also made sure Laura's car was wiped clean, so she'll relay all this to Kevin. Of course, Kevin will also hear about Laura's theory that Jen Sidwell is behind this horror. It'll leave Kevin worried about the message Sidwell was trying to send and whatever move he might make next. As for Gio and Emma Scorpio Drake, they'll move full speed ahead on checking out the address on the note. Emma and Gio hope to free the dogs at Dalton's off-campus lab. But are they walking into a trap? General Hospital spoilers say Gio and Emma have more surprises ahead no matter what, so stay tuned. Here are your General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, December 2nd, 2025. The GH fandom was in for a surprise when Nathan questioned Curtis, and Curtis started flashing back to offering to pay Selena Wu $1 million to kill Drew. Is Jordan going to be in for that same surprise? When Jordan and Curtis leave the PCPD, they head for the Savoy, where Curtis makes a revelation and tells Jordan that he just lied to the police. Will he take a risk and tell Jordan about his offer to Selena? Did Selena even accept the offer, or is this just a red herring? Nina is distressed after having to witness her daughter marry a horrific person like Drew. She knows why Willow did it, but she still doesn't have to like it. After the wedding, she meets with Ava at the Brown Dog, which is where our Port Charles pals are converging this week. Ava tells Nina that things are about to go from bad to worse. Portia doesn't look happy, and she might have just walked into the Brown Dog. As Laura opens up and tells Kevin about finding Dalton's body in her car, Kevin warns her that she has been targeted. Elsewhere, Emma and Gio put their own plan into motion and get ready to break into Dalton's other lab. All they want to do is free the animals. Dalton is also causing problems from the dead at Lulu's house. Dante is still angry at Gio and tells Rocco that he is no longer allowed to see his brother. Lulu has to give Dante some tough love to get him to see how ridiculous he is being. At least Dalton brought brothers Rick and Sonny together. They actually seem to be getting along with one another and wonder how long it will last. General Hospital spoilers for the week of December 8 to 12 reveal that Jason Morgan will await his next mission, while Sonny Corinthos contemplates a Jen Sidwell answer. Some weird Windermere drama is also brewing, so let's talk about what's coming up. After Jen Sidwell forces Sonny Corinthos into a tight spot, Sonny will have to figure out a path forward. There could be a lot at stake if Sidwell is perhaps luring Giovanni Gio Palmieri and Emma Scorpio Drake into a trap. Regardless, Sonny may have to surrender his peers if he's going to protect the people he cares about. Of course, Sonny could potentially agree to a deal with Sidwell and secretly plot his demise behind his back. Jason Morgan already talked to Sonny about the possibility of ending Sidwell permanently. Sonny only wanted to kill Sidwell as a last resort, but he might decide that's necessary depending on how far Sidwell takes their feud. Whatever the case, Jason may await his next job from Sonny and leave the ball in his court. It seems too early in the story to kill Sidwell off, so Sonny might come up with an alternative and give Jason another Sidwell-related mission instead. On another note, will Jason pry any more info out of Britt Westbourne regarding Cesar Faison's project and all the drama she's tangled up in? Jason may make some progress after supporting drunk Britt through a rough time. It'll be interesting to see if Britt's finally willing to trust Jason with more of the story. Next, Jordan Ashford will grow closer to Curtis Ashford as she keeps secrets for him about the night of Drew Kane's shooting. Trina Robinson won't be happy about Curtis and Jordan's growing bond. At some point, Trina may grill Curtis about this whole Drew situation and why the cops insisted on taking him in for questioning. Since Trina recently found out about Portia Robinson's pregnancy, she may also confront her mom over the baby news soon enough. Portia may not be able to keep Isaiah Gannon out of the loop on her bun in the oven much longer. There's a paternity mystery in play that both Isaiah and Curtis will have to discover sooner or later. Over with Valentine Cassadine. It looks like he'll make some waves with his prison escape. Jack Brennan may lead the charge on a manhunt and vow to lock Valentine back up, but he'll be missing some puzzle pieces. Brennan obviously won't know about Valentine and Carly Spencer having a secret revenge alliance. Carly and Valentine still have some bold moves for payback ahead, so Jack had better be ready. Will Valentine sneak a visit with Charlotte Cassadine while he's on the run and potentially even offer to take her with him? Meanwhile, Jocelyn Jacks may blow up at Brennan after realizing he made S. Vaughn disappear. Brennan may insist he's playing hardball and showing Vaughn as well as Jocelyn that he doesn't appreciate rule breakers. At Windermere, Lucas Jones and Marco Rios will affirm their commitment to each other as they enjoy the perks of living together. Unfortunately, trouble could be brewing as some strange things start happening at the castle. If Lucas follows a weird trail and uncovers information he doesn't need to know, Sidwell could be tempted to get rid of him for good. General Hospital spoilers say Marco has put Lucas in grave danger by moving him in Windermere. General Hospital spoilers for Wednesday, December 3rd, reveal that Curtis Ashford will make a Drew Kane confession while Nina Reeves faces some backlash. Dante Falconeri will also ban Rocco Falconeri from Giovanni Gio Palmieri. So let's discuss what's in store. At Brown Dog Bar, Nina Reeves will join Ava Jerome for a drink and declare that this day couldn't get any worse. Ava will suggest Nina shouldn't be too sure about that and may admit she ratted her out to Portia Robinson recently. Nina may lash out over the betrayal, but Ava felt the need to warn Portia about Nina stirring up potential trouble for her. Since Nina's been pointing the finger at Portia as a Drew shooter suspect, Portia will lash out at her on Wednesday's show. It looks like Portia will pop up at Brown Dog Bar as well and cause a bit of a scene. Portia will apparently ask if Nina thinks she shot Drew and rip into her, no matter the response. As for Curtis, he'll talk to Jordan Ashford privately after they wrap things up at the PCPD. Curtis will admit he had to lie to the police tonight, so we'll see how much he's willing to spill to Jordan. GH fans just saw a flashback of Curtis offering Selena Wu $1 million and insisting he wanted Drew dead that night, but he obviously won't want the cops to know about the hit he ordered. General Hospital spoilers say Curtis will give Jordan updates on some shocking news, so he may confess the truth and trust her to keep it quiet. Of course, just because Curtis ordered the hit doesn't necessarily mean things went according to plan. For example, another shooter could have arrived before Selena's hitman could show up to carry out orders. In the meantime, Gio and Emma Scorpio Drake will move forward with their lab break-in plot, now that Emma's found the address for the second location. Over with Dante, he'll tell Rocco that he doesn't want him hanging out with Gio anymore. It seems Lulu Spencer will support Dante on this, since Rocco can't afford to get tangled up in any additional trouble. At Sonny Corinthos' place, Rick Lansing will finally be getting along with his half-brother now that his legal services are being put to good use. "Here's to that lasting more than one day," Rick says as he raises a glass to Sonny in Wednesday's preview video. While Sonny and Rick work on keeping the peace, Kevin Collins will reel as Laura Collins divulges more Professor Henry Hank Dalton details. Kevin will insist this wasn't just about setting Laura up, it was about sending a message. Laura will come clean about turning to Sonny for help after making that horrific trunk discovery, so stay tuned for his reaction. General Hospital spoilers reveal that 5 December shockers are brewing, so some major storylines are about to heat up in Port Charles. There'll be some unexpected moves and exciting romantic twists, so viewers will have a lot to look forward to. 1. Brennan's sudden crisis hits. For starters, Jack Brennan will have a sudden crisis to tackle. It may have something to do with Valentine Cassadine's prison getaway, since it looks like that's about to throw off Brennan's plans. 2. Kevin surprises Sonny. As for Sonny Corinthos, GH spoilers say he'll get a big surprise thanks to Kevin Collins. Following Laura Collins' updates on all the Professor Henry Hank Dalton drama and Sonny's involvement, Kevin will want to speak with Sonny about the situation. Sonny will be caught off guard when he realizes Kevin is now part of the secret circle, but he surely won't blame Laura for filling in her husband. 3. Britt and Cody reconnect. Britt Westbourne and Cody Bell will also have a moment of reconnection, so that'll bring some unexpected flying sparks. Some alcohol may be partly to blame as Cody and Britt get swept up in a close encounter. 4. Lucas and Marco's commitment strengthens as more trouble looms. Over with Lucas Jones and Marco Rios, they'll strengthen their commitment. Lucas has already moved in with Marco, but could an engagement be next? Whatever the case, more trouble is on the way due to Jen Sidwell and the secrets that Lucas could unravel. Some disturbing discoveries are coming up at Windermere that could put Lucas' life at risk. 5. Jacinda's betrayal infuriates Michael. Next, Michael Corinthos will set himself up for disappointment when it comes to Jacinda Bracken. Despite their growing closeness and some erupting passion, there's a secret that could ultimately ruin everything. Jacinda lied to Michael about being alone after their bar encounter the night of Drew Kane's shooting. Michael believes no one can dispute their version of events, but he's wrong about that. Jacinda was actually with Ezra Boyle after she parted ways with Michael, so Harrison Chase is determined to prove it and use this news to blow up Michael's alibi. Once Michael finds out about Jacinda's deception, it should leave him furious and derail any dreams she might have had about a real future together. General Hospital spoilers say these December shockers are coming up along with so many others, so stay tuned. General Hospital is at its best when the romance is driving just as many of the storylines as the family feuds, mob wars, and spy drama. Several couples across Port Charles have passed the point of no return, and the fundamental issues in their relationships cannot be ignored. Whatever the case may be, there are a few couples or romantic entanglements that just aren't working, and something needs to change. At the same time, several couples have maintained their appeal and remain steady pillars of the community, in life and in love. A few pairings on GH have reached the point where a breakup, a reset, or something getting in between them is necessary to breathe new life into the characters. Meanwhile, others remain appealing without any chaos in their relationship. Sometimes it's okay for a couple to stay on track if the chemistry is right. Regardless, some couples need a massive shakeup, and the first choice is the most obvious. Drew and Willow are by far the relationship that needs to end. It's getting to a point where it doesn't make any sense for them to be together, and the writing is backing Willow into a corner she might not be able to return from. Drew is universally despised by fans, and the desire to keep them together has eradicated any goodwill that Willow once had with the viewing audience. She's considered a prime suspect in his shooting, yet he seems to have not even contemplated the idea that she may have pulled the trigger. Willow threw away her entire marriage to Michael for Drew, and her life has arguably resembled an underwater dumpster fire ever since. The only way to redeem Willow is to remove her from Drew and start putting in the work to return the character to her previous persona. The current iteration of Willow doesn't align with everything displayed prior. Drew is sucking the life force from her, and splitting them for good is the only viable option. Although this relationship is already sailing on thin ice, the breakup needs to be expedited. Carly has been strapped in this WSB saga with Jack Brennan for far too long, and it's gotten so bad that she's donning cheap black wigs to visit Valentin halfway across the world to undermine the man she's in a relationship with. Instead of going through this entire top-secret revenge mission, Carly should just reveal what she knows and cut ties with him. Despite the chemistry between Carly and Brennan, the relationship has pitted her against her daughter, Jocelyn, and her best friend, Jason. These are relationships that Carly would normally never risk creating friction with, but instead, she's lying to everyone and playing both sides. It just doesn't feel like Carly. Yes, she is scheming, and to that degree, it's a perfect fit for her. However, Carly feels powerless and submissive, and her character deserves to be the powerhouse alpha that she's grown into over the years. Laura and Kevin are the sweetest couple, and it's nice to see two legends of daytime television find lasting love with each other. However, Kevin's frequent absences make it difficult to remain invested in their marriage. Laura is a powerhouse in Port Charles, and she deserves someone who will remain by her side through every crisis her family faces. The ongoing story is a prime example of why Kevin is needed, and although the actor is making a rare appearance, it's not enough. It's unlikely that Kevin will become anything more than a recurring character. The only option would be to recast the role, and that seems highly improbable. The biggest issue is that although a shakeup would freshen up Laura's character, there aren't many viable options on the canvas for her to romance. They could think outside of the box and pair her with someone entirely unexpected, perhaps giving her a new edge that she hasn't had in some time. Chase is already 1 foot deep into another situationship, and Brooke Lynn needs to open her eyes and see what's flashing in front of her. Her husband is obsessed with proving his ex-wife's innocence, and he's willing to point her cousin in the direction of an attempted murder charge to do it. Willow has always felt like the one who got away for Chase, and his crusade to free her from her criminal charges has put that back into perspective. Although Brooke Lynn and Chase had their moment, they've felt disjointed and disconnected as a couple for quite a while. She's been preoccupied with establishing a relationship with her biological son, Gio, and, as previously stated, he's playing private detective, while Nathan picks up the slack at the PCPD. These two don't seem as organic a fit as they did before, and the coupling is holding the characters back from their full potential. Technically, Sunny and ADA Justine Turner aren't an official couple. However, whatever song and dance these two have been doing for the last several months needs to cease immediately. How many times is GH going to go down this path with Sunny and some random brunette woman that ends up going nowhere? It wouldn't be a she-jock if Turner wasn't even on the canvas by this time next year, making this yet another pointless pivot in Sunny's story. The writers can't commit to a true direction for these two either, which is equally infuriating. 1 minute she's trying to take him down and using every resource at her disposal to do so, and the next moment she's hanging out at his gym and going out of her way to prevent the police from targeting his son. It's just too disorganized, and there are far better options for Sunny in Port Charles, namely Nina, who hasn't found any semblance of love since their divorce. Sidwell's next move rattles Port Charles, while Britt drowns her sorrows, and Jordan offers reassurances. Plus, Jason offers counsel, and Molly is stung. The General Hospital spoilers for Thursday, December 4th, focus on Team Sidwell, which Britt and Jordan are a part of, whether they like it or not. While Sidwell wields his power, Jordan offers reassurance, and Britt drowns her sorrows. Jez Sidwell's bad behavior has been ongoing since he arrived in Port Charles. Up until now, it has been in the most stealthy way possible. Recently, Sidwell busted out and killed Dalton in cold blood. He had the professor's body dumped in the trunk of Laura's car, and he had the audacity to do a Jason impression. He's acting out. This escalation isn't about to stop anytime soon if the latest spoilers are any indication. Sidwell wields his power. This may mean he attempts to put the screws to Laura using what he knows. After all, she didn't go to the cops about her gruesome discovery. She let Sunny and Jason handle it. She's not in the best position, and Sidwell could take advantage of that. If he doesn't wield his power with Port Charles's mayor, then who will feel the burn of his villainous ways this time? Britt's life is a train wreck, and while she should be accustomed to that, this is still bad for her. The trauma she must be experiencing after witnessing Sidwell kill Dalton at close range has to be getting to her. Plus, Britt has to do his bidding because he's holding her meds as leverage over her. Her life is currently not her own. No wonder she decides to drown her sorrows. But who knows? Maybe there's someone out there who could help her before things get too out of control. Someone like Jason. There has to be a point when she will come clean and tell him about all of her massive secrets. The teasers suggest that, on Thursday, Jason offers wise counsel. Does this have to do with Britt? Or does someone else saddle up to Britt at the Brown Dog or wherever she chooses to drown her sorrows? Unfortunately, Jordan remains on Team Sidwell until she can get the goods on Jens. She doesn't seem to be trying too hard. She actually seems to like the life that she's living. An outstanding paycheck will do that to you. The weekly teasers reveal that she suddenly has to offer reassurances. This could be about Curtis and the secrets he may or may not have told her regarding Selena Wu. Or this could be about Sidwell and her assurance to him that she's on board with his agenda. Let's hope the focus returns to her trying to nail her boss for his illegal doings. Molly pops up on Thursday. Things are fairly good for her. Sure, her entire family is lying to her about a lot of things, And Drew has been making it difficult for the Davis girls to see Scout. Other than that, she has her job. She is writing a romance novel. She and her dad are getting along, and she's flirting up a storm with Cody. However, the frustration is real between these two. They have almost kissed on multiple occasions, but for some reason, they are unable to follow through. Is Cody why Molly is feeling stung all of a sudden? What happens between the two? Katelyn Macmullen says Willow acted out of fear of losing her kids, not out of devotion to Drew. Much to the horror of many General Hospital fans, Willow and Drew really did it. They stood in that softly lit living room, surrounded by flowers that felt a little too hopeful for the occasion, and said the words that are supposed to change everything. But the whole thing carried a different temperature than your average Port Charles wedding. There was tension under the lace, calculation under the vows. And if you listen to Katelyn Macmullen, Willow's choices that day weren't about love at all. They were about staying alive in every sense, legally, emotionally, and as a mother desperate to get her children back. Macmullen spoke with Soap Opera Digest about the moment Drew proposed again, and she didn't dance around the truth. "I think at that point, Willow was kind of hoping that would happen," she said. Willow wasn't choosing romance. She was choosing a lifeline. Macmullen explained that Willow needed any hope that she'll get through this, adding that Drew's proposal was what she wanted. But she wanted it because she needed it. Filming the wedding may have been fun for the cast. Macmullen described the set as both beautiful and complicated, yet Willow's internal compass stayed locked on her kids. The actress particularly liked when Nina questioned Willow because she didn't love Drew, and Willow explained marrying Congressman Cutthroat was a strategy. Macmullen even laughed about the running tally. "I think this might be my 4th wedding as Willow," but this one had a different beat. A secret humming beneath the dress, the kind born from a mother bargaining with the universe. Macmullen didn't shy away from the legal storm coming. She further stated that Willow's chances of exoneration were much better with a jury. But deeper than optics is fear. Fear of losing Wiley and Amelia forever if she walks into court alone. Macmullen explained that Willow can't get to the custody hearing until she clears her name as Drew's shooter. Willow believes Drew's power may be the only thing standing between her and a lifetime without her children. And yes, the actress said Willow had doubts, but there was no room for hesitation. "It's already happening. There's no backing out." And in the end, Willow isn't dreaming of forever with Drew. She's clinging to survival. She's decided that living with Drew is a price she's willing to pay to gain her freedom and get her kids back. Selena Wu is reshaping the board quietly, letting Curtis's desperation become her biggest advantage yet. For months now, Selena Wu has been the ghost story Port Charles tells itself. The woman who vanished after being framed for a firebombing, the mob queen who slipped out of sight but never out of mind. And this week on General Hospital, the curtain was finally pulled back. In a flashback, we learned she didn't just return quietly. Curtis contracted her to kill Drew. $1 million, one whispered request in the dark. And suddenly the most precise operator in the 5 families has new leverage and reason to burn the whole table down. Selena has always played a longer game than the men around her. Power is a puzzle to her, not a posture. So when Curtis slid that envelope across the table, he wasn't buying a service. He was binding himself to her. That's the part he never seemed to grasp. Once you ask Selena to get blood on her hands, you don't get to decide when the business relationship ends. And here's the wildest wrinkle. For a woman whose enemies call her merciless, her men are surprisingly sloppy. They took the shot at Drew, even delivered what should have been a clean double tap, and still didn't finish the job. That kind of messiness doesn't smell like Selena at all. It raises the question no one in town wants to consider. If Drew survived, was she even behind the trigger? Or did Curtis spend a fortune hiring someone who never intended to see the job done? Sloppy foot soldiers are one thing. A mob boss who lets someone else take the fall is another. If Selena didn't order the hit, if she merely took the money and let another party do the dirty work, she now owns the most dangerous asset of all: plausible deniability. The Selena who resurfaced isn't licking wounds. She's reorganizing. She was framed, pushed out, and betrayed. And now she holds the confession of a man who tried to use her as a weapon. That's not a setback, that's ammunition. Power players in Port Charles are slow to notice when the ground shifts under their feet, but Selena has already begun. She doesn't shout, she doesn't threaten. She waits until the room is quiet and moves a single piece on the board, the kind that unravels every strategy but her own. Now the PCPD has set their sights on Curtis, who's going to have to double down on his flimsy alibi. And the 5 families? They're still treating her like a problem to manage, not the storm that's already rolling in. Curtis lit the match. Selena is the one holding the fuse. Portia questions a shocking accusation as Rick toasts Sonny and Dante lays down rules for Rocco. The next General Hospital spoilers video for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025, shows Nina's bad day getting worse while Kevin calls out a threat and Curtis confesses to Jordan. Nina tells Ava, "The day couldn't get any worse," and Ava responds, "I wouldn't be too sure about that." It's confession time for Ava, as she likely reveals to Nina that she ratted her out to Portia. Nina tried to keep what she did on the down low, but this is Port Charles after all. Meanwhile, a newly returned Kevin informs Laura, "That's not just setting you up, that's a message." She told him about finding Dalton's body in her trunk, so Kevin drew the same conclusion that she did. The question is, does she tell him that she had Sonny dispose of the body? Curtis admits to Jordan, "I had to lie to the police tonight." That's all fine and dandy, but is he going to make up a story about where he really was? Or is he going to confide in the former police commissioner that he hired Selena to murder Drew? Elsewhere, Portia asks someone, "You think I shot Drew?" She seemed like a likely candidate until we saw Curtis's flashback. However, as the reasons for Portia's possible guilt surface, they may obfuscate Curtis's truth. Rick raises a glass to Sonny and toasts, "Here's to that lasting more than one day." It's nice to see things thawing between the brothers. Hopefully, Rick makes Rocco's troubles disappear completely. Speaking of which, Dante tells Rocco, "I don't want you hanging out with Gio anymore." Boy, Dante really does need to get over himself. Why is he still being so mean to Gio? It was the reveal we've all been waiting for. After months of General Hospital's Who Shot Drew story with several viable suspects, the case was just solved in a series of Curtis's flashbacks during the December 6th, 2025 episode. While there's been too many suspects to count in Drew's shooting, the PCPD narrowed it down to the most likely. First was Michael E., but his Jacinda alibi halted their investigation. Then there was Carly, who outright admitted she threatened Drew's life. Willow was the first person to actually go down for the crime, but that was after being framed by Michael. But Drew has known all along who had him shot twice in the back, and now Nathan is onto him too. Curtis had means, motive, and the perfect resource many have forgotten about. And now that Nathan has dragged Curtis away from Thanksgiving dinner to question him, he was prepared to lie through his teeth. As Nathan asked him about his whereabouts the night of the shooting, Curtis flashed back to scenarios only the viewers could see, remembering his secret meeting at the Savoy with his pal Selena. She asked him why she was there, and he simply said, "I want Drew Kane dead, tonight." But then there's Jordan's part in Curtis's statement. She assured Nathan that she was with him at the Brown Dog that night, but not before Curtis admitted he was at the Savoy to do paperwork. General Hospital spoilers for December 3rd tease that Curtis will make a declaration. Odds are, this won't be the confession the PCPD is hoping for, but it may put Jordan in a tough spot if he reveals to her what he did. Throw a divorce, a devastated daughter, and a baby on the way on top of it. And Curtis certainly has a lot on his Thanksgiving plate. Nathan and Lulu may fall for each other, but is it a good idea? General Hospital is hinting at an unexpected couple. Lulu and Nathan may have a spark between them, but that will cause nothing but trouble. Lulu has been going through it with her son Rocco, while Dante is blaming everyone else. His ex-partner, Nathan, has done nothing but help. The newly reinstated detective ensured that a terrified Rocco was settled in the juvenile detention facility. He even pulled him out after he was beaten, not concerned about his own job. Nathan has become a shoulder for Lulu to lean on, and the two often have deep conversations. They have become close since he somehow emerged from the dead, which is a bit unexpected. As of now, Nathan appears to be the great guy he was before he disappeared, But that cannot be the case. There is something more sinister going on, and it involves Sidwell and Britt. Lulu may not know what she is in for. Maxie and Lulu have been best friends forever. Unfortunately, soon after Lulu came out of her coma, her BFF slipped into one. Maxie has no idea that her dead husband has returned, and it's odd that he doesn't seem very heartbroken about his wife. Maxie and Nathan were married with a baby on the way when he was shot and killed. She was devastated. Eventually, she fell for Spinelli once again, and the two were building a life together. Who would she choose if and when she wakes up? She may not have to make that decision if her bestie is now involved with her thought-to-be-dead husband, but she will be heartbroken. Maxie is a true friend who loves them both and will feel betrayed if that were to happen. Nathan may seem like a great guy, but given the potential danger and the risk of hurting her friend, Lulu should stay away. But when does she do anything that she should do? What soap fans need to know about John Lindstrom's visit to Port Charles? December has only just arrived, but the last month of 2025 has brought with it the return of John Lindstrom to General Hospital. Fans of the ABC soap haven't seen the actor make an appearance in Port Charles in a year. That's all changed with Kevin Collins' character stepping back into the frame on Tuesday, December 6th episode. Where does that leave Lindstrom's role as Joey Armstrong on Beyond the Gates? Here's what we know. BTG fans can rest easy. Lindstrom's return to Port Charles may delight GH viewers, but it doesn't mean he's exiting the CBS daytime drama. In an interview with TV Insider, the actor shared that when he told GH EP Frank Valentini that he was cast in BTG, he was offered the opportunity to have the door left open for Kevin to make appearances. While Port Charles is set in New York, it's actually filmed in Los Angeles, which wouldn't be a problem if BTG weren't filmed in Atlanta. This made the logistics of doing double duty very difficult. Lindstrom acknowledged that his appearances as Kevin had been reduced to about once or twice a month prior to taking up the role of Joey, so he didn't have an active story that needed to be written around. But that didn't mean he'd be available to do an episode here or there, given his schedule on BTG. This explains why it has been a year since fans last saw Lindstrom. However, when the GH team was able to work out a solution, he took them up on it. Kevin's return will be significant since GH is currently working through the aftermath of Professor Henry Dalton's death, which has seen Laura leaning on Sonny. Lindstrom said Kevin doesn't love that development, but he also understands it. Being the shrink that he is, he understands the value of human connection. As for whether the actor will be making periodic visits to Port Charles, that'll depend on his schedule. He shared, "I'll do GH anytime. I just don't know if we can work it out. I'm busier than I've ever been, and I thought I'd be retired by now." And Lindstrom is quite busy. There's no rest for the wicked, particularly not for Joey Armstrong. He doesn't exactly run a legitimate business, but Joey's style of earning money does mean he's often standing toe-to-toe with Fairmont Crest's movers and shakers. At the moment, he's crowing about having a senator in his pocket and juggling his various shady dealings. The role has the soap vet energized and raring to go for work. Lindstrom wants to be a part of BTG's growth as a new soap opera, so that's definitely the daytime drama that has his focus. General Hospital shows Drew Kane thinks his life is about to be absolutely perfect. He is going to marry the woman of his dreams, implicate her ex-husband in his shooting, and abuse his power some more. But the stunt he pulled with Ned Quartermaine and a heist will probably come back and bite Drew in a big way very soon. We're going to talk about how the Quartermaines may be coming after Drew for many of his recent sins. So, we all know Drew has been awful for quite some time. Ever since he got out of Pentonville, when he was serving time to keep Carly Spencer out of prison and was beaten nearly to death behind bars, Drew has been increasingly awful. He hates Nina Reeves, and then developed that inappropriate crush on her daughter Willow Tate that has turned into an obsession. Drew did Michael Corinthos so dirty by stealing his nephew's wife. Drew has also engaged in blackmail, dirty politics, and a host of other sins. But the latest two stunts that he pulled are ones that could have Tracy Quartermaine, Brooke Lynn Quartermaine, and the rest of the Q crew coming for Drew really hard. In case you forgot, when Martin Gray forged Monica Quartermaine's will and said her sister Ronnie Bard got the Q mansion, We saw Tracy pack up a truckload of family heirlooms, and she took them with her to Lulu Spencer's house. But then, when the whole will fraud came out and Tracy was moving back home, Drew pulled another grimy move. He intercepted the moving truck and had all of Tracy's boxes of heirlooms delivered to his house instead of the Q mansion. He basically hijacked all of her stuff. That's why Ned was confronting Drew outside of Bobby's diner. He was laughing in Ned's face about the heirloom heist. Then Drew was mocking Ned and accusing him of faking it when his cousin collapsed and was having a massive coronary. Drew just walked away and left Ned there dying. If not for Gio Palmieri, Emma Scorpio Drake, and Britt Westbourne, Ned would be dead right now. So talk about a real dirtbag move. This might be the very worst thing that Drew has ever done. Basically standing there over his dying cousin Ned, mocking him and not lifting a finger to help. Right now, as of the time I'm recording this, the Qs don't know what Drew did to Ned. Not yet. But on Thanksgiving, we have Drew at his house getting ready to marry Willow, and Ned having a flashback of that argument with Drew. So I'm guessing that Ned is going to tell his family soon about what happened that led up to his heart attack. Now, obviously, this wasn't out of nowhere. There had to have been some other residual issue. You don't just stress a completely healthy person into a coronary, but Drew's absolutely to blame for Ned almost dying. I'm also not sure yet if the rest of the Qs know that Drew hijacked all of Tracy's boxes because she's out of town, and Ned's been in the hospital since his heart attack. Obviously, Ned didn't want to bring up all this messiness at Thanksgiving, but I think he will drop the Drew bombshell very soon on the other Qs. General Hospital spoilers for this week have Gio and Emma on a mission soon. And some other official GH spoilers say Emma Ninty. Emma is determined, and by midweek, Gio and Emma are making a move. With Dalton dead and gone, I feel like these spoilers absolutely could be about Drew and what he's been doing. Once Ned fills in the family, I just cannot imagine what's going to happen next. Drew is going to be the target of some major outrage from the other Quartermains and some revenge plans. There is no way that BLQ, Tracy, Gio, Ned Olivia Falconeri, and the others are going to let Drew get away with what he did or keep the heirlooms that he stole. Plus, with Dalton gone, the teens need a new scheme to conspire on, and Emma, Gio, Danny Morgan, Rocco Falconeri, and Charlotte Cassadine all hate Drew. Of course, the Qs are going to be upset about the heirlooms, but that's about material things, about stuff. Even stuff that's irreplaceable is still stuff. The truly heinous thing Drew needs to pay for is leaving Ned on the ground in terrible pain, scared, and suffering a heart attack. I just can't imagine that Drew is going to get away with it. When Ned tells the family that Drew basically left him for dead, it's going to set off all the Qs. Gio is finally ready to be an official Quartermain, and his first official act as family may be to avenge what Drew did to his granddad Ned. If Gio's out for revenge, you know that Emma is on board to help Gio make Drew pay. I mean, Emma despises Drew already. She has recorded him. She's put videos of him being vile on social media. She's the perfect person to join in on this. We could also have other teens helping because Danny hates Drew. He took out that restraining order that's keeping Danny from seeing his sister Scout Kane. And even when Drew lifted the restraining orders against Alexis Davis and her daughters, Drew kept the one against Danny active. It's very clear that Drew hates Danny because he is Jason Morgan's son. I'm sure Charlotte and Rocco Falceroni will be all in to help take down Drew as well. Rocco, of course, is another of Scout's brothers who wasn't getting to see her until recently. Charlotte considers all of them family, and she dislikes Drew. So, this could be a multi-generational revenge effort, because Tracy is going to be appalled when she gets back from her spa trip to France, and hears that Drew stole precious Q heirlooms and, more importantly, left her son Ned to die. Tracy's going to hit the roof. I think she'll double down on making sure Drew gets what's coming to him. Tracy might be right there conspiring with the kids to get some payback, which is good because they really can't take on Drew alone. I mean, they can, but they shouldn't. There's no way Tracy's going to let Drew get away with this. The rest of the family is going to be behind her 100%. Brooke Lynn's going to be furious that Drew left her father Ned to die. Harrison Chase will be mad. There might even be some legal recourse. I don't know if you know this, but in some states, it's a crime. In New York, it is a crime when you fail to render aid. Usually, that applies more to car crashes. But if you come across somebody in a life-or-death situation like that, it is illegal to just walk away. You have to at least call 911 at a mini. If you know how to do CPR or stop bleeding and you don't help, then you can be criminally liable. That's the crime that Drew could be charged with for what he did to Ned. We'll see if there's a chance to get criminal charges filed, because it's Ned's word against Drew's, so it might not stick. But Gio and Emma might soon be on a mission also to get those heirlooms back and to make sure Drew pays. Maybe the Qs can file a criminal charge against Drew for hijacking that truckload of Tracy's stuff. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you!